All right, this is my video for week 5's submission about Bhattacharya's pages 45 and 46 for my dissertation. The first area is topics. My topic is about teachers and how they approach gifted students, especially in schools where there is no gifted funding or gifted programming. My focus is on small schools in the state that I live in, South Dakota. And I am focusing on teachers who teach secondary education, which is my participants. And I'm limiting that to just teachers who teach math, science, English, and social studies, because those areas are courses that all 9th through 12th graders must take. The verb that I chose to use in my purpose is the verb explore, because that's what I'll be doing, is exploring how teachers identify gifted students, how they instruct them, how they assess them, and then exploring the barriers and challenges that teachers have when approaching gifted students. The theoretical perspective that I think fits my dissertation the best is interpretivism. Interpretivism declares that reality is subjective based on each person's perspective, and each teacher in a school has a different perspective on what gifted is, how gifted students should be identified, how gifted students should be instructed if they need different instruction or that goes beyond what they're already doing in the classroom. Each teacher has a perspective on how they approach the idea of gifted education. It's also interpretivism because the teachers see gifted students in different ways. And the idea of giftedness is a social construct. Some small schools don't view students as gifted because they take a school approach, such as differentiated instruction or mass customized learning, that basically makes the identification of gifted students obsolete, because every student is approached at a level of where they are, and they're taught based on where they're at to get to each specific goal. So it's all socially constructed. Parents perceive their students in different ways, as do teachers. The context will be all digital. I will be sending surveys out to all the identified teachers in the state. My goal number is at least 1,200 teachers will receive my survey that will ask them questions about how they identify, if their school identifies gifted learners, if there's programming, although the state of South Dakota offers no state-funded programming for gifted students, especially in small schools. Larger schools tend to have some that are funded by the school themselves, but small schools in South Dakota don't have the money or the staff for gifted programming. So I'll be sending the survey out to at least 1,200 teachers who teach reading or English, math, science, and social studies in grades 9 through 12. And at the end of that survey, I will be asking for participants to volunteer to be interviewed. My goal is to get 30 teachers to interview, to talk about their challenges and their barriers that they see when it comes to identifying, instructing, and assessing gifted students in their classrooms, especially when there are no programs for those gifted students. So it will all be digital. The survey will be sent out via email and done in a digital format such as Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey. The interviews will be done via Zoom, because travel is prohibitive in the state of South Dakota. It's a large state and the schools are spread all over. The purpose then for my dissertation is the purpose of this mixed method study. It's mixed methods because I'm doing surveys and interviews, is to explore how secondary instructors in small South Dakota rural schools teach math, science, social studies, and English, and how they engage in the teaching of academically gifted students, whether they're identified or perceived as academically gifted in absence of policies, programmings, and resources. So that is my overall purpose. I'll repeat it. The purpose of this mixed method study is to explore how secondary instructors in small rural South Dakota schools teaching math, science, social studies, or English engage in the teaching of academically gifted students, often in the absence of policies, programs, and resources. So that is my week 5 exam, Bhattacharya's pages 45 through 46.